What we got here, man? We got Joe's first RC ever, Baja 5B 36cc ROVAN. All right, we're gonna bring this sucker to life today for the very first time. Let's fire it up, and we're gonna do a few heat cycles. We're gonna want to break in this engine a little bit. It's got a nice, decent head. Yeah, so let's see what happens, man. So we're gonna. I already had told Joe I highly recommend him getting rid of this air filter, putting a velocity stack. I got an air filter for him that he can use. I'm probably gonna put an uni in here. But our local hobby store does not have any Bartolone velocity stacks in stock yet, but he will soon. Yeah, and that's it. So and he's gonna need some outerwears here too. We have not charged the battery yet. We're not going to. There's no need. There are many ways you can break in engines. You can even remove the wheels, so there's no stress on your clutch if you have it on the floor. But we're going to have it on this cheap stand. This is not even an RC stand. It's just a rigid stand, you know. Eventually, once my garage is cleaned up, I'll have my axis stand. That's the proper stand to have. All right, no vibrations. You know, even this Dynamite one is pretty cool for what it was. But, man, it's rattly. It's vibrations galore where my 45 is on top of. But, so if you're not able to get a real stand, like an axis stand or whatever, you can always put an angle bracket over here. Like if you have a Baja only, if you have multiple cars, then I wouldn't recommend that. Just put a piece of rubber, a rubber strip here. You know, you can get them at Harbor Freight or Home Depot or Lowe's. And that way you have some grip. Or if you just have Bajas, you can get L brackets and just screw them over here. That's how I had my other ones. That way your chassis, your car is secure, all right? And you can walk away, it won't fall off, all right? Because with the vibrations of the engine running, it's going to vibrate off, it's going to fall to the ground. What we're going to do here today is just 4 or 5 heat cycles, 15-minute runs. We're going to let it cool down to today's temperature. It's pretty humid and hot, right? Yeah, it's pretty humid. I'll look what the temperature is in my garage. What the hell is it? Let's see. 76 degrees. So once this engine gets back down to 76 degrees, we'll fire her back up. And that's it. As you can see, there's never been fuel here. This has not been charged. There's no need to charge it. I'm just gonna fire up the engine. There is no kill switch on here yet. If you do have a kill switch on your engine, you're gonna have to disconnect it if you want to break in your engine this way that I'm about to do. It's just easier. There's nothing to it. So 4 or 5 heat cycles. After the 4 or 5 heat cycles, we're just going to keep burning fuel. Burning, running. It's going to be idling, but idling kind of high. Not no low idle. Not no, right? So it's got to be running a little bit on the RPM side. You understand? So your wheels may spin, may not, depending on what kind of clutch spring you have. And you want a little bit of RPMs. That way all your oil can push out. All right, and also keep your cylinder cleared up because we're going to be a little bit on the fat side. All right, not much. You don't want it too rich, just a little bit on the rich side. You can control it by how it looks with the smoke that you want. Right, you break in your engine the way you want. That's the way I'm going to do it. I have many ways of breaking in engines. I have done many engine break-ins, different types. All right, when I was dealing with Horizon Hobbies some years ago, I had to break in engines a certain way on my videos to help their customers break in their engines. You understand? I never used 25-1. I always mixed 28-1. And there was many times I also do mix at 36-1. But forget about mixes right now. This ain't about no mixes, nothing like that. But what we're going to do is we're probably going to run either a half gallon or 3/4. There's no need to do a whole gallon. If you want to do a whole gallon, go ahead. But we're probably just going to do a half gallon. Should be more than enough. And then after you're done with a full half gallon or 3/4 of a gallon, then that's when I'll put the wheels back, or I'll put the car on the ground, and I'll start doing full throttles with it. And then that's when I'll adjust my high speed. All right. But before I put the car on the ground, I check endpoints. That's when I'll charge the battery. All right. So this car will never be on the floor, without endpoints. You want to see where your carburetor is at full throttle, and you want to see where your carburetor is at when you let go of the throttle. When you let go, You want this to go back. And you want to check it also when the engine is running, because sometimes when your engine is running and you're not touching the throttle, but if you hit the brake, the engine will die. It'll cut out. We got to raise the end point so when you hit the brake, it doesn't mess around with your idle. You understand? We will have to adjust the carburetor and end points so this thing will idle all day. It won't shut off when they're out in the field. It won't shut off. It won't be a pain in the ass. You understand? And then when he wants to give it full throttle, it'll be full throttle, not no 3/4 throttle, not no half throttle, full throttle. You know, so there's a bunch of stuff that you got to do, little things before you start driving it. You can't just put fuel in it and start driving it. It's not going to work that way. So since Joe here, his brother-in-law is Carlos, and Carlos is a good guy, he let him borrow. Like, we can't get Cam 2 for a while. Who knows when we'll be able to fill all those up, but we do have fuel. I got him the other day. I was at S&K Speed. Check it out. So Carlos hooked him up with a full gallon of Cam 2 Dominator oil here. This is the fuel tank that he uses for drag racing. All right. This is not a no spill. This fuel tank, if you guys want, you can go to Primal RC and pick this up. But this is the one with the pump and this needle here. So on the dragsters, on the dragsters, you see this on the dragsters? We got this here. See that? And we can use that nipple and we stick it in here and we load up our fuel tanks with that. You understand? It's not like a Bashers. We have this. Like, this is perfect for the no spill ones. But these are great. And also our drag Bajas, like not our off-road Bajas, but drag Bajas. We run similar fuel tanks, either the Primal tanks or boat tanks or airplane tanks, and they're sealed. And sometimes guys will fill them up through the fuel lines. So this is why we have this. This is how we fill it up. This is what we got here. I can't show you what the top one is because I don't want people to see this. I do not recommend this fuel for people to use. This fuel here, you cannot keep in storage. Like, you can't keep it in your fuel tanks. You can't use it for that long because this fuel here will damage reed cases, will damage your fuel lines, will damage and eat away at your grommets. It will damage your diaphragms and your carburetors. All right? Even carburetors with float balls. Forget about 2 strokes. How about 4 strokes? If you have a 4-stroke engine and you have a float balls carburetor, that will eat, this fuel here will eat up at your float balls, right? Your seals, everything. It's not good. But this fuel here, I'm just going to use for racing. Actually, I'm going to mix it. All right, so we're going to add some stuff to this. That's a whole nother thing I don't want to bring up. There's really no need for this. I ran a 3951 with Cam 2 100 octane and Dominator oil. So this is some powerful, different stuff, different type burning stuff. I could go, my engine could run better or worse. All right, we don't know. But what I do know for sure right now, this fuel is different. All right, there's other chemicals in here. I don't know if I'm gonna go, if I could go wrong, or if I'm going, I don't know if I'm going in the right direction or if I'm going backwards. I don't know. We will see. But I also have to mix other things here. I don't want to bring up this here because there's no need for this. All right. Once my Cam 2 pump opens up, that's where I'll go back to. It's cheaper. It smells great. That's another thing. This thing here is nasty smelling. I'm telling you, it is nasty. It'll bother your stomach, and it's not good for you right here. Like, if you have some in here, see, this has been here over a year. You cannot have that over here, bro. This fuel tank will melt away possibly, all right? Your fuel lines for sure would be messed up. But just this alone, when it starts eating away at your stuff, the smell of it, of this, is bad, is nasty. It'll make this whole room, this whole garage stink bad with that. All right? Even has warning labels on it. Do not store fuel in motor vehicles. Drain carburetors after each use. Damn. That's that's no joke, right? So I'm not going to turn it around. I don't want to show you guys what it is because people are going to probably want to do it and they're going to mess themselves up. I don't want to see you guys getting messed up. There's no need for this here. All right. So, but what we can do, what I will show you guys is, yo, the VP94 is perfect. It's probably all that you need for these RCs, right? And it'll ignite great. But if you want something else a little different than the 94 VP, you got C9 that you could use. All right, this will still ignite great. All right, you don't want too high of an octane because the higher the octane, the slower the burn. All right, so if you want a crisper, a quicker ignition, a better ignite, if you want a crisper feeling engine, an engine that feels powerful, you can't go wrong with this. And this fuel here will last you a long time. This here I will show you, no problem. And I'm also gonna get some from Joe. I'm gonna. This is Joe. I got this for Joe. This is what he's gonna be using for now. But for now, he's actually gonna use the Cam 2, and the Cam 2 is the best smelling. But this right here, ethanol free. It'll last you a long time, and it's awesome. All right. So this is all that you need right here, and you can use this for everything. All right. So here it is. Highly recommend it. All right. If you can even use this on higher compression engines, but there's also VP C10. All right. If you have to bump up, if you have a special modified engine, if you have to bump up, you can get a C10 fuel as well. But C9, you could use it on many engines. Then all you got to do is run the best oil you can. There they are. You can run Interceptor, you can run Dominator, you can run Redline, whatever. But the best is right there, the Dominator, kid. The Dominator, all right? Please don't use that damn lawnmower oil. Don't listen to some of these fools out there. And that's right. I spoke to AMSOIL again. AMSOIL wants me to tell you, my viewers, do not use lawnmower Sabre oil on dirt bikes. But I told AMSOIL that, listen, I'm sorry, but most of my viewers aren't dirt bike riders. They're RC guys. Most of my viewers. It's like, we don't care. Please bring that up. So hopefully the word could pass. They are really concerned about people using Sabre oil that was formulated for small handheld lawn equipment, like little leaf blowers and stuff like that. Do not use this if you're racing. Do not use this if you have a high RPM engine. Do not use this. Stay away from lawnmower engine oils for us RC guys. Even if you have a turd engine like this. All right, this is a bone stock Chinese engine here. It runs great. It's a workhorse, but it is a turd. It has no RPMs. You may luck out to use this. You can use this, but why? Just use the best. But definitely don't run this on no RC Max engines. Don't run this on any high RPM Bartolone 32 drag mod engine. Don't run this on their 34 drag mods. Definitely don't run this on a Bartolone 30.5 drag mod long rod. Those crazy high RPM little engines. Do not run this shit. Listen, let me just bring up some facts here for you people. I'm sorry to bring this video up to talk about fuel. But big shout out to Matt Olson. All right. Now there was a big mistake happened and learned from. Now there's this professional racer. His name is Matt Olson. All right. He's from MOD. He was running Sabre oil for one season, for 1 or 2 seasons. What a lot of people don't know is last year he blew up 2 Bartolone racing engines. And Bartolone's like, what the hell? How did that happen? Because a lot of us with Bartolone engines have engines, like I have a drag mod that's 3 years old. Arnold's got a drag mod, high rev and RPM engine that's 3 years old as well. Many of my friends have Bash engines that are Bartolone engines that are doing great. And Bartolone's like, I don't know what's going on. Now, Matt's a hard driver. He's a hard racer. He wins races, bro. He's on his stuff. And Chris was like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe the way he's breaking in his engine. Maybe maybe he's rushing it. Because you do have to break in an engine. You cannot rush into things. So Chris Bartolone started breaking in his engines. And now later on, there was a live video that Matt Olson did. Now, Chris had no idea. Those are Chris's engines. All right, that Matt Olson is using. All right, Chris sponsors him. All right, Matt Olson is winning races, world championship races, because of Chris's engines, Barcelona Racing engines. All right. Now, he did a live video this year, and he was like, AMSOIL this, AMSOIL that. When he said Sabre, I was like, what? Sabre? That's lawnmower. I'm like, yo, I'm like, now Chris Bartolone himself, when he asked Matt what oil you're using, Matt just said AMSOIL. So Chris thought it was AMSOIL Dominator, obviously, for racing. You want Dominator oil. Chris had no idea it was a lawnmower stuff. And then later on, I'm like, yo, Chris, are you aware that Matt's running AMSOIL Sabre? No, not the lawnmower stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's the Sabre one that he's been using. Could that be why he blew up his 2 engines of yours last year? Well, just to give you everybody facts and a heads up, Matt Olson runs Dominator now and has nothing but great luck with it. Here's a picture. So, Matt Olson is still a big AMSOIL fan, just he's not using no lawnmower oil on his engines. It's nothing but the best shit Dominator right here. All right? If you guys want, I can do another video with AMSOIL on the phone. I have a past video that shows a tech guy from AMSOIL. You can hear him yourself say, do not use Sabre lawnmower oil because it was made for low RPM engines. You can hear him say, use Dominator oil for your modified and your high RPM engines and for racing applications. All right. And I even post the number where you can call yourself and ask the tech guy yourself. All right. There are other people out there trying to push that. I have no idea why they want to push. Yeah, they do a big mistake. You run Sabre oil, lawnmower shit on their RCs for sure. Listen, you call AMSOIL yourself and get facts from yourself, not just from me. Anyways, let's fire this sucker up. Go ahead, grate that. Always before you put any fuel, shake it up. His race setup, you're gonna have to put this here. Hold this. I'll hold it. You turn that around. Oh, yeah, the other way. He filled it up for you. Oh yeah. Now you see this? I don't know if you're able to smell that. Can you smell that? Oh, you have your mask on.
I can still smell it.
Now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, your VP 96 there, your C9 is not going to smell this pretty, this good. But at least it's going to be good for your car, your engine. Look at that. Look at the blood in there. Good stuff. Just fill her up. You can go faster. All right, so very first time starting, right?
Yep.
You're going to have to, see this is bone dry, your primer bulb? Yep. Pump that a few times until you see some. If that doesn't fill up with fuel, we have an issue. We're going to have to take that carburetor apart and go over and see what... Oh, there we go, kid. All right. Now, don't be afraid. You can do this as much as you want.
Yep.
All right, a lot of people are afraid to overdo this. I can be here all day doing this. Nothing's going to happen, okay? All right. The only thing I don't like is this shit stand. I'm going to have to put... I'm going to put a... You know what? Let me put some brackets here real quick.